Last time that the president activated the National Guard against the will of the governor of a state was in 1965. It was the Democratic president, Lyndon B. Johnson, activating the National Guard against Alabama. And the governor of Alabama had said, "Thank you very much, but we don't need your help." And what was happening there in that moment was that civil rights protesters were being attacked during these protests and beaten, and photos of this was going out. And when these pictures were going out, the rest of the world was watching what was happening in Alabama, and it's like, what is happening in your state, United States? And Johnson ultimately decided he was going to activate the National Guard to make sure that these protests were allowed to happen. Constitutional violations were definitely happening in Alabama. There's no doubt that that was happening. The question is Johnson's decision to activate the National Guard to protect the constitutional rights in Alabama. Here's the piece that I don't think I understood that I think is helpful, which is that Johnson was doing this within the context of the Cold War. And the USSR and the United States were in this kind of cold arms race in all these different ways. But one of those cold arm races was actually for the hearts and minds of all these folks in Asia and Africa. And Johnson was worried that if these pictures from Alabama kept going out, that the rest of the world was going to think, hey, the United States cannot handle civil rights. We shouldn't allow them to be the one helping guide our policies when we are African countries, Asian countries, because whatever's happening over in the United States isn't working. And right before he activated the National Guard in closed sessions, he literally said, we can't have these pictures going to Africa and Asia while we're in the middle of this USSR Cold War conflict. It doesn't make it any less complicated, the decision to send in federal troops to the state level. But that's the context, right? It's to protect the constitutional rights of people in Alabama, because if these pictures keep going out, he's concerned about the way that this influences all these global policies that he's trying hard not to give power over to the USSR. And he's concerned that if these civil rights are being violated repeatedly on video and on picture, that they're going to end up being weaponized as propaganda. So it's not just about states' individual citizens' rights, it's about this bigger picture thing.